Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Everyone, please like the video before we get started.
320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
Oh boy, yeah, we have a lot to talk about today.
The Siegel Law Group, with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And...
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Oh, little loud, Brian. Good morning, everyone. Little distortion. Maybe the mic's too close. I don't know what's going on. Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's Monday morning, February 21st, 2022. We are here live. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Again, my name is Brian Craig. Welcome. We've got a lot to talk about today. And I've already been very busy this morning. My thumb is a little tired, and I may have developed a callus this morning because I've been up for a little more than 3 hours, and all I've done all morning is try to set up my profile on President Trump's new social media platform, Truth Social, and I just keep getting the red something went wrong, and I've been refreshing for 3 hours on the app. I imagine some of you have run into the same thing. Don't let the mainstream media and all the haters tell you any different. Demand is so high for President Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, that as predicted, it is overwhelmed. It's overwhelmed with activity of people like you and me who want to join. And of course, we know that immediately when Truth Social became live in the Apple App Store, which is the only place that's available right now, the Apple App Store for iPhones and iPads. The web version is not yet available. The Android version is not yet available, but they've got the bots after it as well. So yeah, I know some of you may have been a part of the beta testing. I was not, and I got up. Last night. I planned on getting up really, really early because I was thinking that Truth Social would become available in the App Store at midnight. And I actually, and I went to bed last night like a little kid on Christmas. I couldn't wait to get up and try. And I actually woke up at midnight and stayed and couldn't go to sleep after I woke up for a little while because I wanted to be there at midnight for the sign up and the launch of Truth Social, and it wasn't yet available. And then I realized, you know what? I bet it's going to be available around midnight Pacific Coast time because that's where all the big tech people are located. And I eventually went back to sleep and woke up. I set my alarm, woke up shortly after 3 a.m. And sure enough, Truth Social, the app, was both on my iPad and my iPhone. And immediately I set in to set up my account, and I've gotten almost all the way through. And then there's a particular part where I'm getting held up on. And I know a lot of you are probably doing the same thing. It's best just to cool your jets and wait for things to work out. But yeah, I know. It's frustrating because I want to be there right now. I'm not going to tell you what my handle is yet until it's all up and running. But it's frustrating. I've been up all night because I wanted to deal with this. But we've got a lot to talk about today on the program, and we're going to get into what's going on in Ukraine, the verdict in the Dante Wright cop issue. We're going to get into everything on the program today and take your calls at 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. But now that Truth Social has become available even though there were difficulties in the beginning, which we knew this always happens. You know, it didn't happen when like Twitter or Facebook went live, because when they went live, no one wanted them. Nobody knew about them. They were new and just have a few people. But there's such a demand for President Trump and his platform. It is, it's just like overwhelmed with activity. And we know this was going to happen. Plus the forces on the left. But this is today is the beginning of something new, and that's President Trump's return to social media. And I'll tell you, there are winners and losers, and Donald Trump definitely is a winner. I mean, look what happened. Look what happened. All the social media giants deplatformed him, which was insane, while he was the sitting president of the United States. In fact, on January 6th, when America was in crisis, the social media platforms and the television cut the sitting president of the United States off from having the ability to communicate with anyone that wasn't in ear range. They knocked him off TV. They wouldn't carry him. They wouldn't carry him on the social media while there was a crisis going on January 6th, and they cut him off. And this was pretty outrageous. I mean, this is beyond imagination. So a winner like President Trump, what does he do? They won't let him back on. And so what does he do? He goes out and forms his own social media platform, Truth Social. And it's going to be huge. I feel very sorry for the conservative people at Getter and at Parler. I mean, they're good people with good intentions, but Trump wanted to have his own thing. And I think it was pretty smart. And we're never going to get a full explanation of what's going on behind the scenes of Truth Social, because they got to keep a lot of things on the down low so that the enemies of it don't find out about it. But it was a lot of people wanted President Trump to partner with Parler and Getter, and I know they talked to him about it and he turned it down. And as always, President Trump made the very wise decision to go his own way. And the reason that is if he would have made a partnership with Getter or Parler, he would have been beholden to them. They would still have that over his head. He needed to own it. He needs to have majority control over it so that he can't be banned from it in the future. And it's what he did. For many years, Roscoe, $20 super chat. Thank you. You signed up for Truth Social today. You got a verification, but still in the waiting list. Yeah, that's where everyone's at. Everyone thank Roscoe. But Donald Trump has a history of this. For many years at Mar-a-Lago, he was unable to build a helicopter pad at Mar-a-Lago. And he wasn't able to build a helicopter pad because Democrats run Palm Beach and they hated Donald Trump. And so what did he do? He became president, and because he was president, the Secret Service just went and built it. He had an incident where he couldn't fly his flag as high as he wanted to fly it off the ground at Mar-a-Lago. So what did he do? He raised the ground. I'm not kidding. He built a hill and put the flagpole. They had a certain amount of feet above the ground that you're allowed to put flagpoles, so he raised the ground at Mar-a-Lago. So when Donald Trump comes up against obstacles, he without question finds a way around them. But today is the beginning of something new. And when President Trump has the ability to speak to the American people in real live time again, as he will on Truth Social, it's going to change everything that's going on in our news cycles. Now, the media at first aren't going to carry, it looks just like Twitter, and instead of a tweet, you put out a truth. And the media at first are not going to cover the post that President Trump makes on Truth Social. I mean, I think we can assume that. Now, they may cover it today because of the overwhelming demand. The system is being overloaded. When you get your account set up, you're put on a waiting list, and we don't know how long that waiting list, the waiting list is 6 figures long. We don't know how long it'll be once you're on the waiting list until you're able to go live. But eventually, every one of us will be there and be live. It's just a matter of time. And, and it's going to be a great thing. It's going to be a great thing. And the media today, they may, even be reluctant to, but I think the media will start to recover the technical glitches because they say, oh, a failure of Trump. They're obsessed with having Trump failures. So they very well may jump in on that today. Oh, look, it's over. Well, yeah, it's overwhelmed because there is such demand for the product. There is such demand for the product. And of course, we knew this. We knew this. But once it's up and running, and President Trump is communicating with all of us, and by next month it's going to be available even in the Android store. It'll be fully up and running and functional next month, which is just, not very far away because there's only a week left in this month. And he's communicating in real time with everything that's going on in the news. It's only a matter of time before the mainstream media start reporting on them because Trump is great for ratings and he knows how to drive the news cycle. They're going to be resistant at first, but eventually they will. And that's what we need. Strong, we're going to be watching news events happen like the daily briefings with Psaki or ridiculous half-asleep speeches from Joe Biden, and President Trump is going to be on Truth Social commenting in real time. And the media, as much as they hate President Trump, I don't understand why. What has he ever done except made the ratings go through the roof? They're not going to be able to resist. I remember when Twitter was new. Howard Stern did something that got like worldwide publicity and really started making Twitter big. And what he did was Howard Stern was home and he was watching Private Parts, was rerunning on television. And he just took to his Twitter and started tweeting about things in real time as he was watching Private Parts. And it went viral worldwide. This was many, many years ago when Twitter was new. And that's what we're going to start to get with President Trump. All day, every day, just like the old days, 5 a.m., 4 a.m., boom, he'll be there commenting. 6 a.m., he'll be there commenting. I'll be monitoring it. The media will be monitoring it. And we'll talk about what he puts out there. And, so many millions, tens of millions. I think 3/4 of the country are hanging on every word of President Trump's at any moment. The other quarter just don't follow news. And even liberals, they may not agree with it, and they may tell themselves that they hate the guy, but even liberals will be hanging on every word that Trump says and be all over Truth Social because they want to get the notifications every time he comments. And, this is also a new era where a very, very sharp capitalist, our great president, Donald Trump, is, well, you know what he's doing? It's like he's a trust buster now. He is, today, with Truth Social, is the beginning of breaking the monopoly that the left-wing tech companies have on all of us. So I'm going to take the first break of the day. When we get back, I'll talk more about this. We'll get into the Ukraine and everything else, the Kim Potter verdict on Friday. And your calls are certainly welcome at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back after this.
You've heard Steve Kane, Richie the bus driver, and
Jacqueline, $100 super chat. My goodness, thank you so much, Jacqueline. Everyone, please thank Jacqueline. Jacqueline says, thanks to you and Kathy, we are encouraged. We appreciate you both. Well, I appreciate you, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. Please thank Jacqueline, everyone in the chat room. Well, everyone I know that works in radio will tell you that Private Parts is their story in radio. I mean, everybody tells you that. It is very accurate of what you deal with in this business. No talents that hate people on the air tried to stop you.
Besides the fact that, the assistant is really good, really nice, they're all really nice over there, the price was unbelievable. When I came home and I told my wife, she's like, I thought that thing was going to cost you 3 times as much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jacqueline. And did you all catch my weekend streams? In particular, yesterday's with my new setup that my daughter put together for me.
Both times, one was to make sure I'm going to the right office where Dr. Walter was, and then this one to let you know that he's great. I know you know he's great. I just want your listeners to know he's great. His assistant is great. The prices are great. Everything is great over there.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm glad you had a great experience with Dr.
Yeah, I did. Thank you again, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and thank Steve, and you guys keep up the good work over there. I appreciate it. Dr. Gupta, you keep up the good work, too.
All right, there we go.
So everybody keep up.
All right, I think you guys just heard what will be the new commercial.
Well, I'm glad you guys like the new setup, yeah.
Call Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. For Steve Kane listeners, free consultations. And always the best price. Give Dr. Gupta a call right now. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Alrighty, 18 minutes after the hour, it's Monday, the beginning of the breaking of the liberal tech giant monopoly over our lives. You know, that's how capitalism works, right? What we're seeing with Donald Trump with Truth Social, textbook definition of capitalism at work. Because, yeah, that's right. You know, someone who's a successful capitalist, I know liberals think capitalism's an evil thing, although they're all taking part in capitalism every moment of their life in this country. Even people that don't work are taking part in capitalism in our great capitalist society. But there's a demand, a need for something, and a capitalist like Donald Trump goes out and creates it. And, you know, I have, over these past few years, you've heard a lot of people in Congress in both parties talk about a need to regulate the internet. And I've always said that's a trap. It's a very bad idea, regulating the internet. You don't want that. And what they want is to have a governing body like the FCC of the internet to control content and stop, one viewpoint or whatever they're trying to do. And I've always said that is a terrible idea. The internet, there are certain things that are against the law in our society, and we know what those are. I don't have to tell you. There's certain things you can't do, obviously. But the government should not get involved in the regulation of the internet, even though, and I've been saying this for years. People are always complaining, we have this left-wing monopoly going on. We have this huge left-wing monopoly going on with the tech giants. We need the government. These are Republicans. We need the government to go in and break up these monopolies. And I always said, someone, and this is when Trump was in the White House, I would say someone's going to come along, Don Jr., someone's going to come along. I didn't think it would be President Trump then, but it is. Someone is going to come along who's going to create something because there's such a demand for a social media platform, an outlet that's not controlled by the liberal tech giants. There's a demand for it. And when there's a demand for it, someone is going to come in and create it, because what that demand means, money and boatloads of it, shiploads of it, freighters, super freighters loaded with money. And boom, Donald Trump today has begun breaking the left-wing monopoly over our lives. And, this is part, his platform is really part of his whole Making America Great Again agenda. It really, truly is. And, there's going to be all kinds of things that are offshoots. We already have it. Like Mike Lindell's Frank speech. Frank speech is amazing. You guys use Frank speech? I do. It's absolutely outstanding. And he ran into problems in the beginning. A lot of times you're going to hear some talk today about hacking, and then others will say it's not hacked. Hacking, when people talk about hacking of these non-liberal social media platforms, Frank Speech, Truth Social, they don't mean that like a computer hacker breaks into the system. That may happen, but that's not generally what they mean. What they mean is a system, what the forces of the left do. The left are book burners. They do it in different ways. And what they do is they overload conservative platforms with traffic to force the servers to collapse. That's what they do. And they don't do it just organically. They of course, all of them go and overwhelm it on purpose to try to mess it up. But they also have their bot farms that overwhelm it, and boom, it collapses. This is what they always do. And then after a while, it gets sorted out and it gets taken care of. And we're going to see a lot of that with President Trump. I imagine in the coming weeks and months, there are going to be times when like today, there's difficulty on Truth Social just because there's an overwhelming demand for it, and a lot of people around the world are doing what I did today, spending hours setting up their accounts, and it's overloading the system. That's okay. This rush, it's like the toilet paper shortage. This will cool off soon in a few days. And that may happen again when it goes to Android, because more people are on Android than iPhones. So, but it will calm down. And once it calms down and gets worked out, there will be moments when President Trump or someone puts something up there on Truth Social and the system's going to collapse again because the bot farms will attack it. It's really amazing to me how the liberals really truly believe that they are for freedom, liberty, and all these things, but they're the biggest oppressors. They're the tolerant crowd, and the reality is they're so tolerant they can't tolerate anyone who disagrees with them, and anyone who disagrees with them is a Nazi, and they want to shut them down. So there's going to be a lot of that today. So anyway, that's exciting, and I know a lot of you out there probably have a sore, worn out thumb this morning. All right, our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Before I get into the articles, I want to talk about Ukraine. Now, there are a lot of us out there, me, I know a lot of you, were opposed to any United States involvement in Ukraine. We just came out of a 20-year war. I mean, think about this. At the end of the war, and Biden ended it in a disastrous way. We all know what happened, in Afghanistan. Trump was ending it, but he was doing it the right way. There'd still be a free government, and they wouldn't have an army and an air force with fully armed and everything in Afghanistan, the Taliban, if Trump was in office when it ended. It would have ended properly, but it was a disaster. But anyway, when the war in Afghanistan ended after 20 years, isn't that crazy? Think about this now. We had men and women on the ground in Afghanistan who were born after the war began, who were born after 9/11. Think about that. You only be 18 to be in the service. We had people that were born 2 years after the war began. That's a long time. And what did that get us? It didn't really get us much. Made a lot of people rich, like the Cheneys and stuff. But what did we accomplish in that? And after we have a weak leader who lost a war that was won in Afghanistan, which is exactly what he did, we're supposed to trust this guy and his take on world affairs at all, in particular in a violent conflict. But what they're doing already, they started doing this in the last couple of weeks, but those of us that are opposed to U.S. intervention between Russia and the Ukraine, I know it's not the Ukraine, it used to be, it's just Ukraine now. I don't think the Ukrainians will mind, they don't speak the English over there. But what they're going to say and call you, if you're opposed to it, is a Rusky. You're supporting the Russia? Oh yeah, you're supporting Putin, you're a Putinite. You support Trump, you support Putin. You're a Russian agent. You're supporting the Russian agenda. No, we just, after 20 years of war, we think it's time to cool off a little bit. What is in our interest to be involved in a war in Ukraine? And what's going on right now in Ukraine, in my opinion, has nothing to do with Ukraine. I don't really think Putin cares either way whether he takes Ukraine. I really don't. I don't think he'd mind it, but he could go either way. What's going on right now in Ukraine is something that no one in the media is talking about, because the media are very excited because they believe a war is ratings, and they want to have embedded crews, and they already got people over there. Are any of the reporters from the news wearing helmets and flak jackets? And I got a question for you, because these reporters that strap on their helmets, isn't it dangerous to strap on your helmet if there's a bomb blast near? Should these reporters not be using the chin strap on their helmets? Because I thought that the explosion could cause some, decapitation. I don't know. You guys, I don't know. You guys let me know. But are they wearing the military uniforms and the helmets yet, the reporters? They get all excited because they believe it's ratings. And that's all they care about, are ratings. But here's the thing with with what's going on in Ukraine that they're not talking about in the media, because they want to hype it up and they want you to be involved and they want you to have a vested interest in against because of the ratings. This is not about Ukraine. What Putin is doing is testing the United States. And he's doing this with his ally in China. China and Russia are partnered together right now in an alliance. They have an alliance. It's not really a secret alliance. It's like a semi-secret alliance. And Putin is testing things. What will the United States do? If anything, what will NATO do? And you know what they're going to do? Nothing. First off, NATO is not even united here. Okay, we have one traitor already in NATO. They're not out of the closet about it yet. They're acting like they're with us. But Germany has more business dealings with Russia than we can imagine. Okay, so Germany, in a very semi-secret way, is supporting Russia. So already we have a major member of NATO who is not on board with us. Okay, there's a split in NATO because Germany is on Russia's side. I know it's not official and they haven't announced that, but Germany is on Russia's side. Do you guys agree or disagree with that? I think it's quite obvious. They got that energy deal going on with Russia and other things. Oh, yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, quarter of that country grew up under the Soviet Union, East Germany. And a lot of people that are in power in Germany grew up under Soviet rule, and they're with Russia just based on that. So so NATO is not united. But Putin is testing things. He's testing NATO, but in particular the United States. And if he takes Ukraine, what are we going to do? Sanctions? Sanctions don't mean a thing. And you know, when they talk about sanctions, the sanctions they talk about are really weak. They don't really, on any country. Sanctions, like for example, Cuba. We've had a U.S. embargo on Cuba since Castro came to power. What has it accomplished? You know, the reason that Cuba's in poverty right now, it's two reasons. The communists like it because they make America a villain. They can keep the idea of the communist revolution still going on. But the real problem that they have in Cuba is Cuba as a country does not have credit with nations around the world because Castro didn't pay any of his bills, so they have no credit. But how has that embargo worked against Cuba that's been going on for half a century? Doesn't look like it's over half a century. Doesn't look like it's done too much, right? They're still in power. So what's an embargo going to do to Russia? Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. And, you know, when there's an embargo, like we have an embargo against Cuba, the rest of the world does not. Now, there's problems because of the credit issue, but even our embargo has limits to it, right? Humanitarian aid, and that can be, you know, vital things that people need. Food and medicine, for example, are not part of embargoes because you don't want the people not to have proper medicine. You don't want the people to starve. So even during what you think is a big deal embargo, we're still giving them food and medicine and God only knows what else. Embargoes are fake, okay? Embargoes are fake. You know? So if you really got to ask yourself this question. If Putin takes Ukraine today, what are we going to do about it? What's NATO going to do about it? You know what they're going to do? Nothing. They're going to talk about sanctions. They're going to pass some sanctions. There'll be fake sanctions. They'll stomp their feet, and that'll be the end of it. And next thing you know, China is going to be moving into Taiwan because this, you know, Russia and China know that they have a brief opportunity to accomplish their agenda. That is the time that this weakling, senile old coot, Joe Biden is in office. So they're doing this test. Russia's going to win this, and then China's going to start making their move because they know that America isn't going to intervene. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. It's 32 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. We will be right back after this.
I love my MyPillow towels. Unlike other towels, the MyPillow towel absorbs absorbs. They're soft to the touch. They come with a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee. Mike Lindell says...
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video, too.
Pennsylvania called live on the radio and shared her experience with her MyPillow towels.
I was just going to say, I bought the MyPillow, my towels, a couple weeks ago, and they are fabulous. They are the best towels I've ever used. They're just the right amount of thickness. They're not too thin, they're not too thick, and they're a great length. They're like longer than your average towel, and they are fabulous, luxurious.
You know, what's amazing to me about the MyPillow towels, Mike Lindell's a genius with his invention. It absorbs the water, and the towel's not soaking wet after.
Yes, exactly.
You know, other towels, the water just kind of lays on top of them. They don't absorb it. And
That's right.
Water smearing around on your body. Not with the MyPillow towels. What color did you get?
I got the sage green.
Ooh,
But
yeah.
I'm going to order because I love purple, and I'm going to have to get a purple.
Man, my wife's ordering the purple too. She says it doesn't match our bathrooms, but she likes the purple anyway, so we're getting purple.
Who cares?
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Christine, thank you so much. The MyPillow towels are normally $109.99, but with our promo code at checkout, Kane, K-A-N-E, just $39.99. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane.
Steve Kane Show.
I told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health test can be
Hey, sure, hold on.
expensive.
Steve Kane Show.
Your
Hold on.
doctor's office or one of the big labs. It can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order or prescription needed either. You can walk right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Laundry. Are you concerned with the distribution
Here we are,
of
coming back.
assets at the time of
Make
your
sure you guys
passing?
like the video.
Probate.
That helps a lot. And click that notification bell. All those things I ask you to do. What it does, it tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video and all my content to other people that may not know about me already. All right, it brings more people to the show. All right, we're back 35 minutes after the hour, Monday, President's Day. Yes, yes, yes. 1-888-GO Kane 1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Sherry from Texas. How you doing?
All right, Sherry in Texas. What's on your mind?
I was watching the news yesterday, Fox News, and the way I'm seeing this is if sanctions were to have been put in place, they should have been put in place days ago. Putting in sanctions now after the fact, that's not going to do anything.
Well, you know, maybe I don't know if you can think of one. If anyone can someone share with me an example of where strict sanctions on a country moved any, policies at all? With the sanctions on North Korea, Cuba, Iran. When have sanctions done anything?
Nothing.
No, nothing.
It hasn't done a darn thing. So he's already got the Ukraine surrounded, and you're absolutely right. Germany, I mentioned to Greg yesterday, I said, what's up with Germany? Why is Germany laying on their bellies? They're just laying there. You know, they're just not doing a thing about this. They're just sitting back watching to see what's going to happen. And you're right, Chinese is going to move in.
Oh yeah, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? You know, there's no time like the present. This is their opportunity.
And you can't retract it. Once it's done, it's done.
And Biden's not going to do anything about it.
Biden is not doing a single. He is laying back and he is just watching this roll out, and he's not doing a darn thing about it. And the American people are sitting. Now you've got fear rolling into the United States.
Mm-hmm.
People are thinking, okay, what's going to happen next? Are they going to come this way? So you've got China that's going to invade
Taiwan, yeah, which they've wanted forever.
Yeah, which they've been working, and they own Biden. I mean, that's so obvious. I mean, this goes way back 2-3 presidents.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Russia doing the Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine's already lost soldiers.
Yeah. And this business with Biden right now. Look at this. Just 2 weeks of them saying, well, it's going to be Wednesday. That was last week of the Biden administration, just like hyping up a war. It's almost like they're causing it. And I think they have a lot of responsibility in this, because what the Biden administration did by promoting this attack for the last 2 or 3 weeks is they've gotten people used to the idea, so that when it happens, we knew this was coming for weeks now, so let's just go on in. And Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, was like in a panic and pissed off over the weekend that the country, they can't do any business. They said, how can we even have a currency if the United States is out there telling us we're not even going to be a country in a couple of days? So whatever conflict happens in Ukraine with Russia, Joe Biden pushed it for it. It's almost like he wants it.
Well, and Trump, I think, is it Trump and Reagan are the only ones that did not create a new war?
There were some conflicts when Reagan was around. Remember, he bombed Libya. There were some things. And there was a big run on hijackings and things. But President Trump is the first president to end the wars and not start a new conflict. He didn't, because I know the ones with Reagan were small, like Belize and not Belize, Grenada. I misspoke. But Trump didn't do anything like that. He didn't go into any new territory, any new land. He didn't send that we weren't already in. He was the only president since the Second World War, I believe, that can say that.
You know what's really sad about this whole scenario is the American people did not.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a disaster for Biden. Hey, by the way, thanks for the call. And I'll tell you what the next wave of the disaster is, okay? It's this summit. So now Biden has agreed to a summit that's being brokered by the French. First off, nothing against France and everything. I don't have a problem with France. They've been with us for a long, long time. No getting around that. But, a summit between Biden and Putin. I don't know. I think it's likely to happen because Putin wants to humiliate the United States. This is not going to be like the summits we used to have during the Reagan-Gorbachev era. And if you remember, the liberals were they hated Ronald Reagan, like they hate Trump. And there were many summits between Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan. And there was one in particular. In Iceland, Reykjavik, Iceland. You remember this? And they go in, and Gorbachev made all these demands. And Reagan said no, and he walked out. And he left the summit. And the media, you know what they were talking about then when Ronald Reagan walked out of the summit with Gorbachev? A lot of you won't remember. They were talking about impeaching Ronald Reagan because he disrespected Gorbachev, and this was just a terrible thing. How could he walk out? And what happened? Gorbachev asked him to come back and did, and Reagan got everything he wanted. Everything he wanted. And he was bluffing them with that Star Wars SDI thing. Remember, Reagan, a lot of people think this really existed. It didn't, but Reagan was promoting this idea that we had, and this is what led to the Soviet collapse. They were just in a panic over this. Ronald Reagan talked about the SDI, Strategic Defense Initiative. It was called Star Wars in the media because Star Wars was big then. Well, Star Wars still is big, but you know what I mean. And what it was a missile shield around the United States in space where we had laser satellites with lasers that could shoot down with laser beams any missile launched by the Soviets from Russia or submarine. And it never existed. Never existed. It was a complete lie that was sold by Ronald Reagan very well. And the idiots in the media, they were You know, they help promote it at the liberal mainstream media of the day. And that's what, when Reagan was in that summit in Iceland with Gorbachev, Gorbachev said, we're not even going to talk unless you get rid of the space-based strategic defense initiative. And Reagan said no and walked out. It didn't even exist, but the Russians thought it did. And that's what led to the collapse. With Biden, you're not going to get a tough guy attitude. He couldn't be tough on Putin if he wanted to. And a summit between Biden and Putin is a setup by Putin, because Putin is going to come into, he would love to have a summit meeting, make a big deal about it. And we haven't had a real summit since the Reagan era, okay? A real summit is a big deal. They call it a summit. They meet somewhere. It's all fancy. A lot's built into it. Sometimes they do it at a neutral location. I guess the French, if they're brokering this one, it might be in Paris, which is where they had all those Vietnam negotiations. Oh, those went well there. Oh, boy. But Putin will walk out on Biden like Reagan walked out on Gorbachev. That's Putin's plan. See, Putin was a Soviet, and he doesn't like those days, and he thought Gorbachev was weak, and he feels humiliated. They've lost their country, the USSR, and he wants it back. So he wants a summit, Putin, very badly. He really does, with Biden. Why? So he can humiliate Biden and walk out on Biden, because Biden is going to say, you go in Ukraine, we got nothing to talk about. Putin's going to leave, walk out. It'll be on television live. He'll get in his car, go to the airport, and leave wherever the summit is. And Biden's going to be sitting there like, huh? What? Huh? We're about to face one of the, I'm not going to say the biggest, because we've got the fall of Saigon, the fall of Afghanistan, but we very well may see now think about this. I think so. We very well may see, if there's a summit with Biden and Putin, the biggest in-person humiliation of a sitting president of the United States ever. We're about to go into a period where America will be weaker than it's ever been before. Now, Trump comes back in 2024, we'll be back, but Putin is going to humiliate Biden beyond imagination, like Reagan did to Gorbachev. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take our last break of the first hour of the program. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this.
Hi, this is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. I just
Steve Kane
love
Show.
Dr. Gupta. I've been seeing him for
Hold on.
around 3 years.
Steve Kane Show, hold on.
He always has time for me. He never does unnecessary work, and his prices are very affordable. And if you need implants, go see him, because he has the best prices around. Let me give you the number. Write it down. It's 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633, BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the best.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options now available at the Biostation West Delray. Our custom compounded products yield combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra and Cialis greatly. We also offer treatments that can correct the problem at its source, such as PRP and sound wave pulse therapies that restore your natural
Steve Kane Show.
state-of-the-art testing and the most current
Hold on.
treatment options all available in one place, the Biostation West Delray. If you want to correct your erectile problems once and for all, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone. on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWA.
All right, and remember, at Friendly Tire, new tires as low as $70 a tire. Brand new tires out the door and on the road, because Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire does not charge you to balance the tire, does not charge you to mount the tire, and doesn't charge you to dispose of your old tire. Whatever price he quotes you over the phone is out the door and on the road. No added charges. So give Friendly Mike a call. He has all the brands you know and love as well. If you have run flats, oh boy, you're going to hug Friendly Mike when he gives you the price on run flats. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Friendly Tire in Margate. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Okay, so what is Kamala talking about here? Kamala Harris told reporters before departing Germany Sunday that the United States will face some cost due to involvement in the Russia-Ukraine crisis. What cost is Kamala talking about? And she says this. This is a quote from Kamala Harris. When America stands for principles and all of the things that we hold dear, it requires sometimes for us to put ourselves out there in a way that maybe we will incur some cost, Harris said. What does that mean? Put ourselves out there? Is she talking about soldiers? What does that mean? She also said, Kamala, the window for diplomacy with Russia is narrowing. She claims that Putin made up his mind to attack Ukraine. She said the U.S. will not impose sanctions until the point Russia does invade. Kamala Harris detailed some sanctions during her speech at the Munich Security Conference. Biden declared Friday that Putin had made up his mind to invade Ukraine and it could be launched in days. It's the first time the United States has said Russia will invade. Biden said, I'm convinced he's made the decision. You know, has anyone ever seen Kamala Harris in anything but pants, by the way? She's always in pants. Why? What is that about? But what cost could... The only cost I could think of is like us having some type of backup over there and getting involved, and the cost would be what? Lives of service personnel? I don't know what she is talking about. I mean, what do we get from Russia that we use regularly in the United States anyway? Is there a big export from Russia that we benefit from? I don't really know. I know some of my friends have those dolls that you open one up and then it's got a smaller one, and then you open that one up, it's got another smaller one. But other than that, what are those things called? Other than that, I don't know what we get with Russia. I know some guys that have Russian wives and all that. But other than that, other than wives and that doll thing, I don't remember what it's called. What do we get from Russia, and what cost is she talking about? This is, you know, it's amazing that a lot of times people think, like when Obama was in office, okay? Obama wasn't the most competent of presidents, but he wasn't what we got now in a president and a vice president. A lot of times, it seems like the country is on automatic pilot. That the president is a mere figurehead. You might think that sometimes, but that's not the case. You know, most presidents and vice presidents are obsessed with getting reelected, and the vice president wants to be president. Joe Biden knows this is his last rodeo, right? Because of his health issues, his cognitive issues, and his age and everything. He doesn't care. You know, a lot of presidents, they do things so that when they leave office, they can make boatloads of money. Joe Biden, he wants to make the boatloads of money while he's in office. This makes him very unique among presidents. They all get these ridiculous book deals and speaking engagement things when they leave office. That's not what Joe wants. Joe needs to get paid while he's in office to set his family of bums up for the rest of their lives. Kamala Harris, I don't think she wants to be president. There might have been a time when she did. okay? I think she's scared to death of it. I think she gets those briefings, she sees what's going on, and she is so far out of her league that I really don't think Kamala Harris wants it. I think she's frightened of it. I don't blame her. I couldn't imagine being in a position like this, and I don't think most people can, but you know, you're not running for vice president. So we have two people that have no concern really about their future in office. Kamala's going to run around making boatloads of money. They'll probably add her as a co-host on The View when she's out of office, right? And she'll get her book deals and the first female vice president, and she'll make a living out of that. And it doesn't require work and responsibilities just to walk around and get paid all the time, which is what she really likes. She's a spokesmodel more than anything. So for the very first time ever, we have a president and a vice president who have no future ambitions beyond the office. So they just don't care. They just don't care. What they care about is in the immediate. And when you have people like Biden and Harris that don't care about this situation, that's when things go really south for us. Because most presidents, even someone like Obama, all right? Obama, you know, younger president, you know, he doesn't want to, if he were president right now, he doesn't want a disaster with Ukraine because that's on his watch, and he's going to have to explain that for the rest of his life. He doesn't want to be responsible for a terrible thing. Biden doesn't care. Biden doesn't care. Look at how he left Afghanistan. He doesn't care what people say about him. No one has said anything good about Biden his 50 years in Washington, and he figures, well, who cares? And he doesn't care about opinion polls because he comes from the Congress where they always have low opinion polls, and he continued to get reelected. So we're in new and uncharted territory. Now, this is what I want to ask you guys here, though. What do you think Biden's grift is here? What is his angle? Now, this is what I think. Okay, I think it's two. But first off, we know why Biden. And if you have any other ideas, or you agree or disagree with mine, please call and let me know at 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Now, first off, we know Biden. Everything he does is to get paid. So he's trying to get paid, and that's one thing. But the other thing I think that this is all about. And I know a lot of conservatives call everything a distraction. I don't. But this is most definitely a distraction. This wag the dog military action that the United States is in. It's a distraction from his huge failures here. You know, there's a story out today about, our imports of oil are increasing dramatically. When President Trump was in office, he turned in a very short time the United States into the largest exporter of oil in the world, more than Saudi Arabia, which is something that we hadn't had dominance in since the 50s. Okay? Now that's over because of everything Biden's done, and now we're exporting oil when we're loaded with it here. You know, we've got the economic problems, we've got the supply chain problems, inflation is off the scale, and it's not stopping. We've got the southern border issue. This issue with the Canadian truckers is starting to affect us here. So this, I believe, is a total distraction from his failures here. And they tell themselves that, hey, no president's lost re-election in time of war, that people rally behind a president in time of war. And the mainstream media, if you notice, they're on board with this war because they know, it's not just good for their ratings, but they believe, the White House believes, that if we're involved in a military conflict, the partisanship for most people in the country goes out the window and we unite behind our leader. That's not the case because this is exactly what it looks like. A wag the dog moment. And we all know it. Now, I want to tell everyone about Debbie at I Will Advocates, which you can find online at iwilladvocates.com. And what she is offering, Debbie at I Will Advocates, you guys know her. Every open enrollment season for Medicare, those of you that are Medicare recipients, you update your Medicare with Debbie at I Will Advisors. Well, I Will Advisors also has I Will Advocates, and that's the letter I, iwilladvocates.com. And for just like $20 a month or so, you sign up with Debbie at I Will Advocates, and you have a Medicare advocate at the touch of a button and on demand. And they help you with everything. Steve had an issue with a prescription medication a couple months ago. He just couldn't get his insurance to cover it. He needed it. It was a big problem. It cost a couple $1,000 a month. And Debbie over at I Will Advocates took care of the whole thing. Took care of it for him. They'll schedule your doctor's appointments for you. If you have an issue with the pharmacy, they'll handle that. If you have billing problems with a doctor, a hospital, or a pharmacy, they'll handle that for you. They'll explain your Medicare benefits to you. If you're in the hospital and you need help in the hospital, if you're in a hospital, think about this now, this is amazing. If you are in a hospital and you don't think you're receiving the care you need, you call I Will Advocates. Debbie and her team over there, they'll get in touch. They'll call the nurse's station. They'll get a hold of the doctor. They'll make sure that you get the help that you believe you need. They do a lot more too, and they'll explain it all to you when you call. Now, no matter where you are, not just in Florida, but in the United States, and you're a Medicare recipient, Debbie at I Will Advocates can help you. And those of you that are caregivers, this will take a huge weight off of your shoulders. You can find them online at iwilladvocates.com, iwilladvocates.com, or give them a call, 954-345-1214, 954-345-1214. 1 hour down, 2 to go. If you're on hold, stand by. Back after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Chaplain Jethro from Flint, Michigan.
Hey, Chaplain Jethro in Michigan. What's up, Chaplain?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Mike Lindell for the great product called My Slippers. That cured my neuropathy in a big way. In 10 minutes after I put them on, it went away. This morning I woke up with leg cramps, put them on, leg cramps gone.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's a great product.
Which one do you have? I have the tan fur-lined moccasin My Slippers. Which ones do you have, Chaplain?
I have the blue ones, and they're fur-lined also.
I've heard from several listeners that the Mike Lindell My Slippers make their neuropathy go away, and there's very little treatment for neuropathy, and people that suffer from it, it's torture, so I appreciate that. All right, Jethro, I appreciate the call, and thanks for the kind words about Mike Lindell's My Slippers and how they help with your neuropathy.
Yes, indeed, they do.
And right now, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, save 50% off the MyPillow My Slippers. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and use our promo code KANE, KANE, for 50% off the MyPillow My Slippers. That's 50% off, but you've got to use the promo code KANE, KANE.
This is Lori Kane.
Steve Kane Show.
I want to talk to you about Tom Laporta at Laporta
Hold on.
Contracting. We needed a new roof, and we knew we needed a new roof, but we just procrastinated. We saw wet spots on the ceilings. We called Tom Laporta, and he came out and did a free roof inspection, which he does for everybody, not just us. And sure enough, we needed a new roof. We had mold
There was an issue about
We dealt with our HOA
commercials.
association.
Did you want
We fixed our
tire?
roof. Not only did he take
What was the problem?
Mike's tire to continue to run?
Yeah, why? Is there a problem?
Well, it was brought up on Thursday or Friday.
By who?
Everything is beautiful.
Janice and maybe it was the other one.
It is such a pleasure.
So I didn't know if...
Oh, what'd they ask?
And not have to worry about it leaking.
You were supposed to get with one of them?
Oh, no, I wanted to change our weekend infomercial, and I just don't have one to replace it yet.
Oh.
Yeah, not the spot, the infomercial on the weekend. I want to update that. I don't know what we have in the system. I need to find out what we have.
I think you've only got that one.
That's the one left with the change? Yeah, I'm going to have to do a new one. Yeah, it wasn't the spot. Yeah. Steve Kane Show. Hey, David, hold on.
From Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Steve Kane Show.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-CANE.
All righty. Yes. We are back 2 minutes after 7. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. President's Day, a day where most of America is off, but we are here live with you on this President's Day. We're going to go to our phones, and we're going to go to David. He's in Soviet territory, or Russia. He's in Crimea. David in Crimea, good morning.
Hi, Brian. You wanted to know what Biden's grift was in Ukraine.
Yes.
Thought I'd fill you in. So, ever since Ukraine became a independent state in '91, they've been getting really cheap gas, probably 10 or 12 cents on the dollar. And the gas transport network was the only thing that shipped that gas to Ukraine. Well, if it went over the Ukrainian border, it was Ukrainian gas. And so they were selling this gas for lots of money to Europe. What happened was, since the fall of the Soviet Union, is Russian or Ukrainian oligarchs, including their prime ministers for forever, have been making billions gas to Europe at exuberant.
Yeah, that pipeline we're always hearing about.
Well, the pipeline's a bit different because after 2014.
So what are you saying, that Biden's getting profits off of this?
Profits like the original Ukrainian oligarchs. They're actually got a grip that, well, I'll explain it. So they get money for transporting gas to Europe. Okay? They're not allowed by their...
Elizabeth, $40 super chat. Thank you so much. Everyone, please thank Elizabeth.
They're at war with Russia without declaring it.
Yeah.
But Biden's made sure that, no purchasing from Russia. So what they're doing is Burisma, you've heard this name before.
Oh, yeah.
They're transporting gas to Russia, or from Russia to Europe. And then what they're doing, so they get paid on that.
Well, see, we're in a unique situation in America. This is the first time, and I stand to be corrected, people out there. And I want to keep it focused on at least since the end of the Second World War. But I believe this is the first time we have ever had a president who was looking to make major profits selling out their presidency. This guy's got more angles going on, and that's what this guy's doing.
It's actually, almost, there's 4 or 5 sitting congressmen, U.S. officials that are involved with the gas deals in Ukraine. But what they're doing is they're transporting gas to Russia, making money on that, and then reverse.
Okay, now what? Okay, so what do you think? So we got confirmation. Biden's got money coming in all over the place. What's Putin's angle here? I believe Putin is testing American and NATO resolve to see what we will do or will not do, and I think he's partnered with China on this.
Well, I'll finish telling you how they're making money on gas, what Biden's doing different than the Ukrainian oligarchs. So once they've got the gas in Europe, they're re-importing it as European gas. So the Burisma gets transport twice, plus they're making money selling it to Ukrainians at exorbitant prices. There's leaked phone calls from Biden with the president of Ukraine bragging about increasing the cost 40% instead of the 20 that they demand.
Yeah.
It's that's a major grift.
Oh, yeah.
They're making $5 billion a year estimated just off the gas transport. So if you were thinking that Hunter Biden was getting paid, like $80,000 a month, that's pennies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Cigar money. Less than cigar money for these guys. Yeah.
Biden's case, it would be, crack money.
It's really, and I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing, that we have a president that is so corrupt financially and politically. It's an embarrassment.
Look, the people that overthrew Ukraine in 2014 are the same people that are running the government now. And what they've done in the United States since 2020 is the same thing they've done with.
Okay, so what? Now I asked you before. What's Putin's goal here? What's Putin doing? Do you think?
Putin wants NATO to stop putting rockets all around his country. So if you look at all the map of the world with the locations of U.S. and NATO installations encircling Russia and China, they're up to the country's borders already. And the new age of rockets, they can reach Moscow in 5 and 10 minutes.
Well, it's always been that way. They got missiles, we got missiles. I don't, we're not going to use them. They're not going to use them, or they would have,
Gorbachev was promised that NATO would not expand into the former Soviet bloc and so on and so forth, and they've already done that.
Oh, yeah.
You can say that they're not going to use them, but for some reason there's a bunch of B-52s flying over Ukraine all the time, practicing bombing runs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could imagine if Russia was flying over Mexico, practicing bombing runs, if you sit there so smug and say,
Oh, no, even though in Canada they've allowed the Chinese army into Canada, which is insane, but no, we would not allow that. Although we did have a lot of years of the Soviets in Cuba, and that's been a problem. And Iran and the Russians have done things with Venezuela. But we're in a whole new era right now because we have no national interest in what's going on there. And I believe that war does break out, that Biden caused it by this it's like he really wants a conflict. He really wants a conflict. I think a lot of it also has to do with his political donors in this country. That Build Back Better bill failed, and a lot of these donors still need money. They're owed money by Biden and Pelosi, and they can pay back a lot of them with military action because a lot of them have government contracts with the government that a buildup of a military conflict without even a conflict would make them boatloads of money. And there's some of that too to pay back the donors.
Yeah, look, we're dumping all the expiring weapons that we have. From javelins to just 7.62 millimeter NATO rounds. We're dumping plane loads of that stuff into Ukraine almost every day.
Yeah, and they got to be paid for, and then every time we drop off a load, that load's got to be replaced, and so you get paid twice for each load, and of course it goes back to some Democrat, Republican Party establishment donors. Yeah, that's right. No, there's no getting around it. I mean, listen, we've been lied to into wars like in Iraq with the fake British intelligence and Bush and Cheney, no question. But that wasn't obvious at the time. It was later. This is obvious in real time as it's going on, and the media in this country are all behind it.
Have you ever seen the media not be behind a war?
Yeah, Vietnam. And they also were against. The media, I will tell them. Now, this was just of their hatred of George Bush and Cheney, but they were opposed to Gulf War II, the Iraq War in 2004. They were opposed to that too. Yeah, but they still want to be embedded. There's TV ratings, and they make a lot of money on that too. All right. Well, listen, keep us updated from Crimea because you're closer to the pulse of things than we are.
Yeah. Take care, Brian.
All right. Take care. All right. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Nothing's good coming out of this. All right. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, yes, Doug.
Okay, first I'm hoping that Trump's people are listening. This is something very, very bothersome.
What do you? Okay, do you hope that Trump's people are listening to what you're about to say or what I've been saying?
Both of them.
Okay, so slow down, guys. Conservative Doug is about to make a statement that is so important that he hopes that President Trump himself hears it up at Mar-a-Lago this morning. So this has got to be some brilliant analysis. Let's go, Doug.
Listen to this. I go down to the America tour for Trump Jr. on Saturday. I'm walking in, and they have the metal detectors that you're supposed to go through. So two women in front of me. They put their bag down, and rich people do, with their Chanel bag down, and they go to the checkout, to the metal detector, and then they pick up their bag and walk in. Nobody looks in their bag.
I don't think we need to be talking about that kind of stuff, Doug. No, I'm not. I don't want to be talking about security stuff and stuff. No, we're not going to talk about that. You can talk about that on the paddleball courts with your friends. All right, and I like conservative Doug. Don't get me wrong. Steve says he's radio death as a caller, but I do like him. But I just don't believe much of what he says. I don't know. He has too many stories and too many experiences going through life. He's like a Forrest Gump kind of character, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't buy a lot of what he says. All right, our number toll free, and it had nothing to do with the topic on the table. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 888-465-2631. I'm going to take our break. Come back. I'm going to move on to some other topics, but you're certainly welcome to continue to call in on Ukraine. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Back right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors.
Your calls are always good, Jeff. You're not conservative. Doug is
single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial projects.
a whole nother thing.
Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options now available at the Biostation West Delray. Our custom compounded products yield combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra and Cialis greatly. We also offer treatments that can correct the problem at its source, such as PRP and sound wave pulse therapies that restore your natural function. State-of-the-art testing and the most current treatment options all available in one place, the Biostation West Delray. If you want to correct your erectile problems once and for all, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
Yeah, and don't forget, when you call Dr. Matez over at the Biostation, make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show, a free consultation. If you're a listener of the Steve Kane Show, everyone else has to pay for that consultation, but it's free if you mention you heard him on the Steve Kane Show. And don't forget to talk to Dr. Matez about hormone replacement pellet therapy. It will change your life. He's an anti-aging doctor, and he will turn back the hands of time. The number over there, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. I'm reading this headline on Fox News. Russia, Ukraine, Kremlin calls potential Putin-Biden meeting premature. See, didn't I tell you? As soon as I saw this morning about a summit, this is Putin's moment to shine. See, there's a shift going on in the world right now as to who is the world leader and superpower. The United States has been the world leader since 1945. And I guess what? Since 91, we've been considered the sole superpower left in the world. But are we still a superpower with Biden? You know, if Trump was in the White House, totally different thing, right? You got resolve, you've got leadership, you've got, a decent person doing the right thing for the right reasons. Who are the superpowers now? these ships that were off the coast of California a few months ago. We were talking about that happened for a number of reasons, but I believe China caused the supply chain crisis. Right now, we got Russia doing this. Since inauguration day with Biden, both Russia and China have been poking the bear a little bit, and you got to ask yourself this: if Putin, basically the Kremlin has turned down a summit meeting. They're saying Biden's not worthy. Who right now, at this particular moment in time, is the leader of the world? Who is the superpower? Is the United States even still a superpower? Today, when we're being pushed around by Putin, a strong leader has to know how to handle a lot of things. One of them is not to be humiliated by another foreign leader. And now Putin is in charge of whether or not they have a meeting, have a summit, which would be a meaningless summit anyway. Now, I want to talk about the Kim Potter verdict that came in Friday afternoon. She got 2 years, and she's got time served. So she's got a little more than a year. She's got less than a year and a half left, and she's going to be out. 16 months. Just over a year. So about a year, Kim Potter will be out of jail. She'll be a free woman. Now, she won't be able to own a gun. She won't be a police officer anymore. But she'll be out of jail. And a lot of people are celebrating that sentence. She got lucky, Kim Potter, in that she had a good judge, okay? Kim Potter had a good judge. But Kim Potter should not have been arrested. She should not have been charged. And she should not have been put on trial. Kim Potter is a political prisoner. The only reason that Kim Potter was arrested, charged, and convicted of manslaughter, and now has to do another 16 months in jail, is because of the George Floyd incident, Derek Chauvin incident. That was the year that police officers were bad, and all police officers are guilty of something just because they're a police officer. And she was arrested and charged because of that. She really did no wrong. What got her jammed up, the reason she got arrested and convicted, is because she yelled taser, taser, taser. If she would not have yelled taser, 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 and would have shot Dante Wright fatally, that would have been considered what they call a good shoot. Now, I don't support, what happened to Dante Wright. I think it's a sad thing. He did live an entire life of crime, sometimes violent crime. But, I wish it didn't turn out that way. But Dante Wright, what he did led to that incident, without question. Right? What was he doing? He was driving around in a car on a suspended license with an expired tag. He's driving around, so that's two things right there. He's driving around in a car smoking weed. That's another crime. And he had a warrant out on a weapons charge. Right? Remember the weapons charge? Dante Wright robbed a woman at gunpoint, reached into her bra, which is an assault, which could even be considered a sexual assault, and took the money out of her bra at gunpoint. Then, at the traffic stop, he resisted arrest and tried to escape. A felon wanted on a warrant, breaking multiple laws, and that warrant was on a violent weapons charge. I mean, come on. And he tries to escape. If Kim Potter wouldn't have yelled taser, 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 she probably would not have been arrested. They would maybe have allowed her to retire. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way it is. It would be nice if police officers didn't have to use their weapons ever. And it would have been better if that was actually the taser. But Dante Wright, a lifelong criminal who would have continued a life of crime for the rest of his life until he was incarcerated forever at some point, he did everything that put into... He is responsible for what happened there. If he would have behaved in that traffic stop like you're supposed to, didn't try to escape and all this other stuff, we never would have heard of either of them. So a lot of people are celebrating that she got a light sentence. And I'm happy that she got a light sentence as opposed to like the maximum, which was like 7 years. But she shouldn't have been charged with any crime. She shouldn't have been arrested. She shouldn't have been tried. And you know, who would go into police work today? Police work is more dangerous than ever. Police work has always been a danger in that you're risking your life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But police officers go out and do something which is frightening. Traffic stops. Can you imagine traffic stops? Oh my goodness. You know, but they take the risks that they take because they know that their families will be taken care of if God forbid something goes wrong. That's no longer the case because, you know, you get in a situation where you have a violent, wanted felon like Dante Wright who resists arrest, who tries to escape, who's breaking multiple laws, has a warrant out for this violent gun charge, and things escalate. And not only are you risking your life and now your freedom if you're a police officer, but also your family's financial security. Because the benefits that would protect your family, survivors' benefits, pensions, and things like this, when you have a conviction like this, they're gone. She had over 20 years of service. Her pension's gone. Her police benefits gone. She's not going to get any of that. You know, and a lot of people become police officers for different reasons, but I think a lot of them become police officers for the pension, the financial security, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they know if something happens, if something goes south, their kids, their spouse, they're taken care of. That's no longer the case. So what are they out there risking everything for? Who's really in charge at a traffic stop? And you know, I've talked to police officers on the phone here, on this program, who have told me that in routine traffic situations with African American drivers, they'll let them skate. Because it's risky. If you are a white police officer or a Hispanic police officer, if you're a non-African American police officer, and you stop a black driver, the African American you've pulled over are in complete control of the situation. Complete control of the situation. Because no matter what they do, if it's recorded by your body cam or someone's cell phone, you are the bad guy. You are the villain. And that's the way things are right now. And I got to tell you, if I were a police officer and I was patrolling, you know, I'm looking out here at US 1 Federal Highway, I'm looking over here at Dixie Highway, and I saw someone run that red light and it was, you know, and they were black, or speeding down the road right here, I might use my discretion and let them get away with it. Because is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk? And, you know, I've seen some videos on social media, I'm sure you guys have seen some of these too, where people try to trigger the cops. Because they know if they get the right video and it goes up online and it's in the right way, that they just won the lottery. So, you know, and the public perception, you know, these videos that you see, in particular from the cell phones, are so incredibly misleading because people don't take out their cell phone and start filming until something has already happened, right? They don't start filming from the very beginning most of the time. Something happened, there's a spark, boom, and then they start filming. You miss what led up to that moment. So it's more dangerous than ever to be a police officer. And Kim Potter is a political prisoner, and it's really mob justice because, you know, she was arrested and charged, just you know, there's no doubt about it. She was arrested, charged, and convicted because a mob of leftist anti-cop people wanted that. And the judge who was tearing up during the sentencing, she knows this. And she could have gotten the maximum sentence with another judge. But luckily, I think this judge agrees with me and many of you out there that Kim Potter should not have even been brought before a judge. Now, that's not to say that she should have been allowed to retire, and maybe not keep her on the job any longer. I'm not saying that, but jail time, loss of all benefits, it's outrageous. And, you will find, police departments are going to go through a huge change right now, especially in liberal parts of our country, because the best and the brightest may be smart enough not to become a police officer in today's climate, unless you're like in a conservative state like Florida, okay? But if you're in New York and Chicago, one of these liberal places around the country, you could lose everything, just like that. It's really a bad time we're in. And I remember when I was growing up and I'd see all this footage of the 60s. When I was a kid, it seemed so exciting to me. Oh man, it was so radical, so exciting. And now we're living through a period like that. And the radical hippie types, they're now running police departments, the mayors of New York. They're working in the White House now, they're judges. These radical lunatics are now the establishment in so many parts of the country. And a lot of what we're seeing too, I know George Soros is a big boogeyman for a lot of people, but 10 or 15 years ago, George Soros started financing and backing people running for local district attorneys throughout the country. And we've seen the effect of that. Why do you think there's this no bail problem going on in this country? That's Soros. No bail. That's just stupid. No bail. Come on. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's President's Day, people. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Everything's closed, right? Banks closed. No mail today. Oh, boy. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's our number. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker.
Let's see.
I broke my tooth. I fractured it and it went backwards in my mouth.
Oh my God.
Front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later. And I said, what am I going to do? The dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Each way. Okay? The man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours. Put a pen in it.
Did she get to keep her pension? They can go back and take that. No, they can go back and take that after a conviction and everything. No, I wouldn't be so sure. No. They can go back and take it.
This is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception, okay, in New York City. He knew I was in
This has
New
been
York.
done.
The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line?
Dr. Gupta.
Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it, and Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is top shelf, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633.
Well, thank you, Marcia.
954-922-4633.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe and click that notification bell too.
COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall.
Truth Social has launched.
Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
Oh man, you can always tell the holidays when I look out at Federal Highway. Very few cars out there today. A lot of people have the day off work. Maybe we should have taken the day off, huh? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's President's Day. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Someone told me during the break, oh, no. Kim Potter, they let her retire before the trial. She got to keep her pension. Listen, when there's a conviction and the case is closed with a conviction and a prison sentence, they can go back and revoke all of that, take it all away from her. And, when now that they got the conviction and the sentencing, Dante Wright, they can sue her civilly and get her pension. No, it's not safe, whatever arrangement that she made. Now, Joy Reid on Friday was just having a meltdown over the Kim Potter verdict. See, all white people in Joy Reid's mind are guilty. It's just the way it is, guilty. It's really a shame. Joy Reid, she is so racist, and she doesn't even know it. She just thinks that she's got the reality out there. So Joy Reid, she had a panel. This is Friday's program of hers, Friday night, talking about the Kim Potter verdict. She was convicted. She'll be out a little more than a year. And they were very upset that both Kim Potter and the judge were crying. Listen to this analysis on MSNBC Friday night on the Kim Potter verdict.
Joy, this country hates us. This country hates black people, and we know it. We talk about it. We joke about it. We know.
I mean, here you've got, okay, this is her guest. This guy, he's like a college professor. Here you've got, if what they said was true, would MSNBC is NBC News, would NBC News, if what they said was true, have an African-American woman hosting a primetime show with a guy on like this every night talking that way? Of course not. Of course not. No, but this is their Kim Potter analysis.
Joy, this country hates us. This country hates black people, and we know it. We talk about it. We joke about it. We know what we're up against. But sometimes that hatred that this country has for us really comes out and just takes your breath away, just grabs you by the neck and just takes your breath away. And today, Judge Regina Chu was that hatred, that icy hatred around our throat. She was the spit in our face today. Have the unmitigated gall to stand up there, sit up there in her courtroom and cry out for sympathy for the killer in front of that boy's mother. I don't have words to describe how offensive that is, how hurtful that is, how unjust that is, almost goes without saying. People are like, oh, she made a mistake, the Potter made a mistake. Yeah, we have a sentencing guideline for this kind of mistake. It's called 6 to 8 years. Why did she get 2 years? Somebody needs to answer me why she got 2 years. And of course, we all know why she got 2 years. Yeah. Because she was crying white. That's why she got 2 years, and not the 6 to 8 years that her crime cried out for. Judge Chu wants us to look at things through Potter's eyes. I say no. I will look at things through Dante's Wright's eyes. And I can imagine the last thing Dante Wright saw. I've been in a situation where that might have been the last thing that I saw. So those are the eyes that I will remember. And I would encourage others to remember. And I would encourage others to reject Judge Chu and instead think about Dante Wright.
You know, I mean, there's a guy named Muhammad Noor, former police officer, I believe in the same state, that was got 12 and a half years for accidentally, firing his weapon and killing a woman. She was a white woman from Australia. He's doing 12 and a half years for that.
Okay, I don't even know about that case, but here's the deal. Is this guy said that could be him? Does he lead a life of crime? Would he escape from police officers? Let me tell you something. And police officers will tell you, traffic stops are scary, and you've got a suspect who's a wanted felon on a gun warrant, and they go to escape. What are you supposed to do? Was she supposed to let him get in the car and drive off? Now, over the weekend, the Freedom Convoy, Freedom Truckers in Canada, it's all over now, at least for the time being. Did any of you watch the footage over the weekend of what was going on in Canada? It was pretty brutal. And the Canadian government, from the Ottawa police chief on up, they believe that the trucker convoy is an insurrection. That's what they believe. Hold on a second. Okay. They believe it was an insurrection that's got to be stopped. And there was a press conference over the weekend with the Ottawa police chief after they cleared them out. And I watched a lot. There were a lot of people that were streaming live on YouTube from the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa. I didn't see any violence committed by the truckers. This was the most peaceful mass government protest I've seen like this. It really was. And these guys, and I don't mean this figuratively, they did not even litter. It was the cleanest protest site I've ever seen. You see these other protest sites, on top of the fact that in this country they loot and burn things down, there's just garbage everywhere. People are throwing bottles at one another and all kinds of things go on. Right? Like look at that mess that Kyle Rittenhouse got him caught up in. What was going on with the truckers in Ottawa was calm. It was very civil. People were pissed off and angry through it, but they were civil. And then the police came in over the weekend, and it got violent. There were Canadian police officers on horseback that trampled over an elderly, disabled woman and hospitalized her. I saw some of the truckers were battered and beaten, and the way the cops came in was very heavy-handed. I mean, it was. And then the Ottawa police chief had a press conference. This is frightening. Frightening. Listen to this. Police chief of Ottawa.
If the protesters at this point, retreat and go home, are they going to be getting sort of repercussions down the road? Or are you going to be sort of actively pursuing the people that you've been sort of documenting and filming who are still out there protesting? What are your plans after this, after the protest is over?
So I think it's a great question, and the simple answer is yes. If you are involved in this protest, we will actively look to identify you and follow up with financial sanctions and criminal charges. Absolutely. This investigation will go on for months to come. It has many, many different streams, both from a federal financial level, from a provincial licensing level, from a criminal code level, from a municipal breach of court order, breach of court injunction level. It will be a complicated and time-consuming investigation that will go on for a period of time. You have my commitment that investigation will continue, and we will hold people accountable for taking our streets over.
Okay, so that's the police chief of Ottawa. So they're going to have a, this is really frightening. He says a months-long investigation for anyone who gave support. And support could be, what we found was $25 donation on a crowdfunding. They're doing a nationwide manhunt right now in Canada for everyone connected to this. Now, a lot of the people, it was reported that they did a lot of arrests and that they did release the people they were arresting, is what's been reported. I don't know exactly how true that is. But what they're doing in Canada is making sure that nothing like this ever happens again. That's what they're doing. And you know what? I think they're almost going to be successful at this, because if it's true that they did not arrest people, okay, that they arrested, did a catch and release, arrested them and let them go, didn't keep them incarcerated, and we haven't seen any groups build up yet, it looks like it might be over for them, at least the time being. But, I was talking about this over the weekend on my YouTube streams and on my podcast. This is the first major incident of civil disobedience outside the French-Canadian issue from time to time Canada has ever seen. And they don't understand it, but what they do understand is this, the officials. They don't want this to become a trend. They don't want this to become a regular thing. In fact, I saw one of the Canadians over the weekend say that they don't want to have political division in Canada like we have in the United States. They want a happy Canada where everyone gets along and does what they're told. And I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go from here, but I do know this. No one could convince me that the United States government under Biden did not work with the Canadian government on clamping this down. You saw over the weekend we have the United States Freedom Truckers heading towards Washington, and what did they do? Right? They pulled in the COVID restrictions in D.C. and they put the fencing up to keep the truckers out before they even get there. A preemptive move has already been made. It's obvious there's cooperation going on between the Canadian government and the United States government to shut down the truckers. And the Canadians are looking at this like Pelosi and the others look at the January 6th Capitol breachers. All right, let me take a call or two before we take our break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Richie the bus driver. What's up?
In piecemeal. First of all, Kim Potter trial, I watched the whole trial here because I have nothing to do, but I'm retired, so I sat up. This is just at the fact that she should have done it. The fact is that the jury was tainted. That 75% of the jury pool came out of liberal Minnesota.
That's right.
That's number one. So she didn't have a fighting chance. Her lawyers were decent lawyers.
Her lawyers were, she had incompetent counsel. In fact, when I was watching her on the stand, her defense attorney, I thought, was the prosecutor for a couple of minutes. He was combative with his own client while she was on the stand.
Well, they proved the case that she made a mistake, and the jury had her convicted ahead of time, and that all stems up to what's happened in Canada. That all, it's not that you said that police. Okay, here's the deal, and this look through my eyes. Okay, if you're black today in this country, like the one that beat in New York City, that beat the hell out of that woman on the subway, who's arrested 44 times and let out. The guy that just shot at a politician 9 times, I believe, they let him out the next day. Black Lives.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, and not only that, that was like a hate crime. The guy was Jewish, and it's believed to have been an anti-Semitic attempt.
All of the truckers in Canada, that happens to be an extension of liberalism in Canada. All the truckers were white, basically 99% of them. And if you think they weren't black, and in Black Lives Matter, and white guys by the name, in the name of Black Lives Matter, burned our cities down. Antifa, in the name of Black Lives Matter,
that's right.
Cities during that summer. And you think that if they were black truck drivers, Canada would be going after them? I don't think so.
I don't know if there's enough black truck drivers in Canada to have that many in a group.
I think this is reparations, my friend, and that's why they can break the law now. They can go into Neiman Marcus, steal purses. They can go anywhere they want. They can do what they want. Nobody.
Well, listen. There are a lot of criminals around that don't do crime because of consequences. So if you take away the consequences, like you can shoplift a certain amount and you're okay, no bail. People that are criminals are going to go and do crime because there's no consequences. Consequences are a deterrent to crime. That's why there's a crime wave is going on, because they've suspended consequences.
That was ahead of Black
They're doing catch and release.
Well, didn't she say when they were robbing all those stores, this is our reparations?
I've heard some say that. Yeah, I'm sure.
Sure, she said that. This is what it all is. They've divided this country. They try to divide it under President Trump by saying that everybody that voted for Trump was a racist or a white supremacist, and now they're letting young black thieves all over the place, and they're not.
Well, I saw one instance. This was a few months ago. I think it was out of California, where you can shoplift a certain amount of money worth of things, and I saw two shoplifters in a store adding up what they were about to steal to make sure they didn't go over the limit, counting it up and doing the math.
There was one that asked the bagger to help her out of the store and put it in her car, stole merchandise. I'm telling you, this is so crazy what's happened now. This is reparation.
Well, I remember after the hurricane and FEMA was giving out money, people were lined up for the free money, and some of them were driving Cadillacs and Lexus and things like this. If all of a sudden there's free money, free food, free stuff, people are going to go and do it. Why wouldn't they? If they have that kind of mindset.
Look at the borders. Don't call me a racist. The people of color are coming into the border free of charge, getting shipped all over the country. Don't have to show papers for flying or anything else. But every other past Americans were being looked at when you.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing is just.
Yeah, but you know what though? I'll tell you just to finish up though about the Kim Potter case. Kim Potter in her light sentence. It's good news. I don't think she should have been arrested. I don't think she should have been on trial. I don't think she should have been convicted of anything. But the way that the judge reacted and everything shows that there is a major tone change against this lawlessness of the left that we've been experiencing for the last year or so in this country. People are sick of it. Well, not if you're in a liberal town.
But she's an Asian judge, and she sees what's going on with Asians all over the country. I mean, enough is enough already.
Yeah. And they'll be, yeah. All right, Richie, take care. Hey, thanks for the call. Let me take one more before we break. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, this is Wellington. How's it going?
Hey, Wellington, what's on your mind?
All right, man. Now, just calling in to talk about the truckers rally. I got to concur with Richie on most of what he talked about, even though he's a little too passionate. But the whole narrative of what they got going on there in Canada is to make these truckers lash out. They're trying to get somebody on film to do that, and they can't get them to do it. So
they brought in, I was watching on Saturday, they brought in these officers that were in unmarked uniforms. They looked like military uniforms. Some people say UN. I heard some of the truckers say they were from Quebec, but they were like in military uniforms wearing gas masks. They had the nightsticks and the helmets on. And there was one guy who was one of these cops. They had no insignia, no badges, nothing, no Canadian flag, nothing. And one of them was like making a fist at the truckers. And the whole, they were facing them down for hours and hours and hours trying to instigate the truckers to get violent, and it didn't happen. Didn't stop them from running them off, but they were, yeah.
And they sang "Oh Canada," but I mean, what I'm watching is they're hazing these people. I've seen a video online where these people were in a cafe just getting coffee and using the restroom, and they were hazing them. The store owner locked the door.
Mm-hmm.
Cops at every window trying to get in, trying to open the door for them. To let them in to get the truckers out.
You know, the fact that they were able to clear the truckers out without incident, without the truckers committing any violence or anything, shows how peaceful the demonstration was.
They were cleaning the streets online when I first started watching the videos, but to be honest with you, none of that's going to save anybody. These people, their ivory tower was finally shook for the first time, you know, and you're starting to see that their narrative is broken. And they can't fix it, from the vaccine to the mask to the...
Yeah, but you heard, I mean, they're going to spend, to them, the truckers was a January 6th-like incident, the breach of the Capitol. And they're going to spend, the Ottawa police chief said, a months-long investigation tracking down everyone who supported them. Not just the truckers themselves, supporters. That means money on a crowdfunding site to them.
I'll let you go after this. Did you see that new video that just was authorized to be released through a warrant? And it's a video of January.
I've heard about this, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, hey, listen, Wellington, thanks for the call. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Catherine in North Carolina, what's on your mind?
Well, I've been kind of keeping up on this Canadian thing, and this police chief, he's an interim chief, and
Yeah, the other one resigned. The main chief resigned. Yeah.
right. And if Parliament on Monday votes to get rid of the executive emergency, then cop. He's not a federal cop. So the emergency thing, and another thing is I've also been paying attention. There's huge protests. Rebel News has it in Toronto, in Quebec.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's throughout the country.
Waving flags. It's across the country, from British Columbia across into.
Yeah, but they broke it up in Ottawa. It's over in Ottawa, and the only thing I've not been able to get out of this confirmed is about the arrest, because I've been hearing from people, and it's been reported out of Canada, that even among the leaders, they released everyone, which is hard for me to believe, but it's what's been reported. Including the leaders.
Some of the people Lever Fry was there. He's in Canada, in Montreal or Quebec.
Well, there have been Mo Brooks and other Republicans in Congress are talking about giving political asylum to the truckers in the United States.
Well, they did release a lot of the truckers, and some of the trucks that they confiscated were actually the Antifa had gone through the week before and sliced their tires. So
oh my goodness.
Some of the ones that couldn't roll out were because their tires were slashed.
Wow. Wow.
Their trucks back once this emergency order, because they were legally there. The judge that stayed the honking said that they did have a right to protest and they did have a right to park their.
But you know, this is the thing though. Trudeau and the leaders, okay, and yeah, well, Trudeau and the leaders in Canada are not going to let something like this happen again. This was way out of their control, and I was talking about this over the weekend. In Canada, they've never really had civil protest of any kind, violent or nonviolent. In the United States, we've always had that since before we were even a country. And in Canada, the Canadian government don't understand this. Canada didn't fight for their freedom; they were given their country by England peacefully. So they don't understand protests, civil disobedience. They've had no civil rights movement ever. And they just don't understand why people would stand up and say, we don't like what the government's doing. So anyone who stands up like this, they believe is an insurrectionist. And they're labeling them as that.
Well, they have had people stand up and block pipelines and different stuff, and train tracks and stuff for weeks and weeks.
Minor things, not this. This here was at the seat of government. They're outside Trudeau's official residence. They're outside Parliament. This is different than some tree huggers about a pipeline or about a moose somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. This is in their home. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. I got to run. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I'm a little late for the break, so this will be a short one. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Stacy from Deerfield Beach. This is in reference to Champagne Automotive. I went over there. They're wonderful. I have a Kia Optima Eco Hybrid. When I called, it needed service. I didn't want to bring it to the dealership because they would charge me through the roof. And basically, when I did call, they said bring it in the next day. He's amazing. He did everything. He didn't overcharge me. He went through my car, and I would recommend anybody to go to him. He's absolutely amazing.
Well, Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, they do great work, and I want to thank you for calling. And I learned something about Champagne Automotive Repair from you in this call. I did not know that they actually did repairs on hybrid vehicles.
What had happened was when I brought it to the dealership, they were like, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. And when I heard about Champagne Automotive, I called when I got there, and I said, he goes, well, I already ordered the oil filter.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. And so I dropped it off. I don't have many people to take me back home. And so he ordered Uber for me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's service. Thank you for the call as well. And anyone else out there, Champagne Automotive Repair, their prices are great. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. Their number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And what's your name, caller?
My name is Stacy, and thank you very much, Champagne Automotive. And thank you very much, Brian and Steve.
For Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for...
My apologies, everyone. I went way over on that last segment. This is going to be the shortest segment ever in the history of the Steve Kane Show. My apologies. I got behind on our break schedule there. But I just want to say this going into the top of the hour. We have finally heard from the district attorney in the Alec Baldwin shooting death of the cinematographer and the shooting of his director. And they got a lady DA in New Mexico, and she said, this is unbelievable, listen to this. The Santa Fe district attorney who was overseeing this case says that Alec Baldwin could have fired the gun that killed the cinematographer without pulling the trigger. So now we have that this, we haven't heard from the district attorney out there, and I was hoping that, well, we're not hearing from the district attorney because, they're crossing all the T's, dotting the I's, because they're going up against a big celebrity. I see Alec Baldwin acting like nothing's wrong. He went to Europe to film a movie. He's back, and he's, I see him going out for coffee and dinner every night like he owns the joint in New York. And it looks like the DA is going to let him off. And, I know, isn't this something? John Schneider, about a month or so ago, did a video demonstration with the exact same weapon that, not the actual gun, but an exact duplicate of the gun that Alec Baldwin used. And he demonstrated in a lot of detail how that gun cannot fire unless you pull the trigger. He tried all kinds of things to show that you couldn't fire the gun. Now, this district attorney says it's possible. The district attorney is acting like defense counsel here. It's nonsense, okay? I've owned a lot of guns. How do you fire a gun without pulling the trigger? And this one in particular, you cannot and you can't fan this weapon. You can't pull it back and let the hammer go and let it fire. You've got to engage the trigger, okay? Now, sometimes people will have a gun cocked, they'll have the hammer pulled back, and they'll have their finger on the trigger, and they'll pull the trigger not meaning to fire a gun. That can happen. But this weapon cannot be fired unless someone pulls that trigger. And when the district attorney, the prosecutor, is acting as defense counsel here, what her conclusion is something that's up to a jury, right? That's up to a jury to decide. And if this goes to court, you have the prosecutor, if they're embarrassed and have to prosecute Alec Baldwin, you already have reasonable doubt coming from the prosecutor herself. And I saw this prosecutor, and she's a lady that's looks like she's in her 50s. I think she's got a thing for Alec Baldwin. She's of that generation of women that had a thing for the Baldwins. I mean, this is just insane to me. And so, Alec Baldwin, life goes on. He killed a woman, shot another, and no consequences. Where's Black Lives Matter now? I know she wasn't black, but he shot a liberal Democrat and killed her, and the director, I promise you, a liberal Democrat too. Oh my goodness. That's the real privilege in our society. Rich and famous. That's the real privilege. Rich and famous. I wonder, when you look at the climate we're in today, if O.J. Simpson would have killed his wife, Ann Ron Goldman, today, do you think he would have been arrested and prosecuted with the evidence they had in Los Angeles? Probably not. I know that sounds crazy, but there is no one more deserving of going to trial in a manslaughter case than Alec Baldwin. and you have the the prosecutor out there acting like a defense attorney, throwing reasonable doubt out. Whew. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Back after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to any lab test now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to any lab test now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies, and I haven't been exposed. So do what I did. Go over to any lab test now of Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimonial about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going around, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Oh, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, we're back. It is President's Day, people. Oh, my goodness. It is President's Day, and President Trump's Truth Social has gone live on Apple only, okay? Got to have an iPhone and an iPad. I think it'll work on the iPad, but not yet on Android. But this is amazing because President Trump said, it came out about 6 weeks ago that President Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, was going to launch on President's Day. Here we are on President's Day, and it has launched. And, this is, the media are so wrapped up in their hatred of Donald Trump. they don't even realize what's happening with Truth Social today. Because there have been other conservative alternatives, primarily Parler and Gitter. And, you know, everyone who's MAGA is going to Truth Social that's on iPhone today. Next month, which is only a week away, sometime in March, it's going to be available for Android, and Truth Social said by the end of March it'll be fully operational. That includes the web browser version that you can use on your computer desktop. And I think the media have completely miscalculated what's going on here. They think that Truth Social is going to go the way of these other things like Telegram and Gab and Gitter. Parler, I gave up on Parler months ago. It was so difficult to use, and I've talked to other people. It's not just me. A lot of people said they've given up on Parler. And what is going to happen starting today, and I've heard word that around 6 o'clock Eastern Time, it's not a firm confirmation, but I've heard word that around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, President Trump is going to address the American people on his new platform, Truth Social. And the media are going to continue to try to sideline President Trump, not cover him. But with his platform launching today, President Trump is going to be commenting on everything going on in the news, like the old days, in real time. And the media, their first reaction is going to be not to cover it, because they don't want him to have a voice. But they're not going to be able to help themselves. They're not going to be able to help themselves. And it will not take long for President Trump to start once again being the driver of every single news cycle that we're in. And, you know, we don't have a really, you know, with Rush gone a year now, there really is not a national, with Rush gone and with Trump being off social media, we've not had a real strong conservative voice on a national level. Okay, there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, MAGA people like me, but we haven't had like a national leader that everyone who's conservative, everyone who's MAGA listens to. And President Trump hasn't been able to, because he's been locked out of the entire way that you communicate, both television. They don't carry his rallies on television except for Newsmax and One American News. His rally, you know, his new social media platform will carry the rallies, and everyone's going to be on it. And, you know, a lot of times people think, oh, Twitter, it's too big, can't go against Twitter, can't go against Facebook. You know, people forget. Facebook and Twitter were not the first big social media platforms. There was MySpace. And Facebook came along, and people used to make fun of, oh, who's going to go to that? And then what happened to it's gone. MySpace is gone. It's been gone for years because of Facebook. And when Twitter started, people said, Dorsey and these guys are crazy. Facebook is so big. Who do these guys think? And you're limited on the number of characters you can put into Twitter. How is this going to compete? And look what happened. It did. It not only did it compete with Facebook, it knocked Facebook out of the leadership position in how people were communicating. When there is a public demand for something, it will always win out if it's available. And Truth Social right now is being overloaded with activity. It's only available for iPhones through the Apple App Store. It's not available on Google yet. And the desktop version is not available either yet. Just the app on iPhone, and it's overwhelmed with activity today. And it's not just MAGA who want to get on there. It was mostly just conservative MAGA people on Gitter and Parler, but Truth Social is in demand not just for MAGA people, but for everyone, including liberals, hardcore liberals, because they want to be where Trump is. They want to be able to respond to Trump and MAGA, and that's where it's all going to happen now. Okay? And the news cycle will once again be under the control of President Trump, which is something we need. We really, truly need You know, and these little interviews that he does and everything here and there calling in are great and spectacular, and he says very interesting things, and we always listen to them. But starting tomorrow, if you have an iPhone, you're going to wake up and around 5 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to get a roundup of President Trump's opinions on what's going on in the news. Putin just humiliated Biden. Right? Biden said that he wanted to have a summit with Putin, and Putin said no. Because Biden put this precondition, if he agrees not to invade Ukraine, and Putin said no. Now, this is a major humiliation for the President of the United States, whoever they are, when they can't call in a summit with the Russians. Russia and the Russian leader, whoever they are, throughout time, since, you know, and the American leader are supposed to get together on a dime if one of them requested. Remember the old days of the red phone? And he's been humiliated. Now, the media aren't going to cover that in that way, not properly. But President Trump will. They're never again going to be able to freeze him out. And you know what what they did on social media and on television news with Donald Trump on Election Day was outrageous. Okay, that Capitol breach was a crisis. There was a crisis going on. And television and the liberals and social media cut off the lines of communication of the President of the United States so that he could not communicate with the American people while the event was going on. That's insane. And he was trying to cool things down and calm things down and get it done, get it over with. But they cut him off. And in the remainder of his first term, they wouldn't even put him on television. I remember, I don't watch Cavuto anymore. I was done with Cavuto. Was never really a big fan of Cavuto. But President Trump came on live. This was before Biden's inauguration day. And Cavuto cut away. Oh, we can't air this. We'll have to monitor it because he could incite. Remember that? Now he's got his own social media platform, Truth Social, going live today. It's live now. And it's overloaded with activity. It'll take a few days for it to get sorted out. But it'll be up and running soon. And what President Trump has done, they haven't given us all the details of it because they don't want everyone to know how they pulled it off. But President Trump has put together a team of people and done this in a way where the left-wing giants can't take it down. That's why he didn't partner with these other conservative news or these other conservative social media platforms, Getter and Parler. He wanted to own his own thing. And I heard Nunes talking a couple weeks ago on Newsmax. He just gave a little details, not a lot of specifics, on how they have their own servers somewhere. Like if you remember, Parler, which was the conservative alternative, was taken down. They were using servers through Amazon, remember? Yeah. And Trump and his team wanted to make sure nothing like that could happen. So they got their own company, their own social media platform, and they have their own computer servers somewhere. Where that is, I don't know. Maybe they're at Mar-a-Lago. Who knows where they are? But they're in full control where the liberal techies, because they don't like him, can't shut him down, so that he doesn't run into, with his own network, what he ran into with Twitter and Facebook, or Joe Rogan was running into with Spotify. He's totally independent now, and they won't be able to shut this down. And it's interesting that, you know, because it's available, to be available for us on our phones, it has to go through Apple and Google. So Apple and Google are working with President Trump. And I bet you that they have some things in the works in case, say, Apple decided, oh, we're not going to let people download this app anymore. They've done that with people. Like Alex Jones's InfoWars app was banned from the Apple App Store. They probably are working on a way around that too. But by the time something like that happens, if it ever does happen, there are going to be hundreds of millions of people on Truth Social. Truth Social could very well, I know this is a crazy thing to say, Truth Social could put Twitter and Facebook virtually out of business, like MySpace. MySpace is still online, but nobody uses it, and it's like useless. Truth Social has the ability to do that. And thankfully, he didn't partner up with Gitter and Parler and did his own thing, because he knew if he partnered up with one of these other people, he wouldn't be in full control. And he is. As time goes on, we'll learn how they did this. When it's all up and running, things will leak out. But they're never going to be able to cut President Trump off from communicating with his people again. And I know you guys are maybe running into some difficulties with Truth Social this morning. They will be worked out, I promise you. It's just overloaded with people who want to be a part of it. And, of course, the liberal bot farms are on their way to go after it, too. All right, we're going to take our first break of the third hour of this President's Day edition of the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve will be joining us after the break. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order, or prescription needed either. You can walk right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, this is Chaplain Jethro.
Steve Kane Show.
Hey, Chaplain Jethro in Michigan. What's up, Chaplain?
Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Oh, you can't do it on iPads? VW, $5 super chat. Everyone thank VW. I'll explain the bot farm a little bit.
South of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, we are back 20 minutes after the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve joining us on this President's Day. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you.
Oh, man, it's an exciting day because starting, later today, we're going to be able to hear from President Trump in real time on all the events of the news cycle. So this is exciting with the launch of his platform.
Very exciting.
Yep. I know, it is. Oh, yes, it is. And the media, they're not. Today is a bit of a holiday. It's President's Day. So they'll take a break from it today, but starting tomorrow, they're going to start to have their meltdowns over Truth Social. All right, our number toll free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. Good morning.
I know hope this isn't a little bit off topic, but
Oh. Which indictment are you concerned about?
There's one in Georgia.
There's not. Yeah. Okay. Now, they have been going after Trump. He came down the escalator in 2015. So, see, that's making a lot of noise there, Stephen. They've been investigating Trump since 2015. All right, caller. What investigation led to a criminal charge and prosecution of Donald Trump that and ended in a conviction of something?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's right. So why do you think? And in New York, for over a year, they've been in possession of President Trump's tax returns, right? And what have they found in his tax returns after a year? Mm-hmm. So what are you worried about? Well, they're saying that. Well, there's a prosecutor who said that Alec Baldwin didn't murder a woman who's dead from a gun that was in his hand. You know, just because someone who's a legal mind says something doesn't make it so. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. You know, I tell you, a lot of these conservatives, they want to feel like losers. I mean, they haven't got anything on Trump because he hasn't done anything wrong. And you know, and Steve, when President Trump starts commenting on everything, that noise with the cord's making a lot of noise, Steve. I hate to tell you on the air, but I can't. Okay. When Trump starts commenting on his new social media platform today, word is he's going to address the people at 6 p.m. Eastern time on it. The news cycle is going to change. Everything you've seen in the news about Trump in the last year, he hasn't been able to respond to, really. Not meaningfully. He's done he'll do an interview here, he'll do an interview there. But when he's on social media in real time again, which he will be starting today, commenting on these things, you're going to see a major tone change. Because they've been going after and debating a guy who couldn't respond, and now that's going to change. So it's going to change everything starting today, Steve. What are you worried about? What is there to worry about? What has you worried? I know. Have you ever seen Trump seem worried about anything? I haven't. No. He is the most investigated man in history, I would say. I mean, as an individual. And believe me, if his taxes, for example, if there was anything in the taxes, it would have leaked out a year ago. And there's nothing leaked out because they didn't find anything. And it's not from not looking. Believe me. They had top experts poring over his taxes. It's just pettiness. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Did you see that Putin humiliated Biden and said he won't meet with Biden?
Still a little between the news cycles on that issue. How did that play out? Depending on that.
Well, what time did you fall asleep?
I was waking up and drifting off in the middle of the night. How did that resolve itself with Putin?
Well, it's not fully resolved, but Biden was talking about doing having a summit with Putin, and Putin said no. So that's it. I mean, that's
drifted off. It sounded like they were about to create some kind of.
There's only no, not yet, at least, no. And I cannot think. You know, it's like the Gorbachev-Reagan dynamic in reverse, where the Russians are calling all the shots. You know, I have never seen an instance where, and if you guys have an example of this that I'm missing, feel free to call us. I've never seen an instance where the President of the United States wanted to speak with the Russian leader, whoever they were over the years, and were turned down, and the Russians said no. I've never seen it. There's no meeting set up. That's the status. Putin said no.
For the attack that never seems to happen.
Well, this isn't about Ukraine. Biden, what he's doing here is just insane. Putin is testing Biden to see what his reaction is going to be, how far he can push Biden, and see what the American reaction will be. And so far, it's really been not. What are we going to do? They're talking about sanctions. I cannot think of a single instance where sanctions on a country has had any impact. We've had sanctions on North Korea and Cuba for as long as I've been alive. They're still operating under their regimes. Putin doesn't care about that. It's a test to see how far they can push the United States. It's not so much about Ukraine. It's about America. I don't know if we're a superpower today. I mean, if the president of the United States cannot even get a meeting with the Russian leader, well, it's a holiday. They're off on holiday today for President's Day, so they'll get to ignore it. But Putin's in charge here, not Biden. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's our number. Toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this. Be right back, guys.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number, 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214, or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
Oh, man. Wings Plus on Sample Road. Ron DeSantis has had wings from Wings Plus. The Trumps have had wings from Wings Plus. And, Oh, yeah. And let me tell you something. Everything at Wings Plus is spectacular. Everything is homemade right there on the premises, including the soups. including the chili, including even the many, many sauces they have on the menu for the wings. And the prices are unbelievably affordable and low. And every time we do this commercial, my stomach starts to hurt a little bit, and my mouth starts to water because I'm thinking about those wings. And there's two that I'm partial to. One is the medium hot, and then second, and they're both equal because I love them both, are the ones you introduced me to, Steve, the lemon pepper. Oh my goodness! I mean, Steve had been talking about the lemon pepper, and then we were over there, and Steve ordered a basket of the lemon pepper wings. I ordered my regular medium hot wings, and then I said, let me try one of your lemon peppers, Steve. I ate the whole basket of Steve's wings. That was it. I mean, they're good. They're very good. So what you can do, you can order the 50-wing platter at Wings Plus on Sample Road, but you can get 25 of one, 25 of the other. You split it up, so that's a good way to go. But Wings Plus on Sample Road is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road in Coral Springs. When you stop in, tell Brian he's the owner, that you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jerry, old man.
Oh, hey, Jerry. Yeah, but it's different. It's not a social media platform. Frank Speech isn't a social media platform. Frank Speech is it's a video platform where Mike Lindell and a few others have like television shows. So Trump's outfit is different. They're not in competition. They're different things. Frank Speech is like YouTube, and Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, that's launching today, is like Twitter.
China got a satellite.
No, whatever they've, what Trump did was very, very smart, because these other, Candace Owens' husband is the executive of Parler, that social media app, and then there's some other people that worked for Trump that are doing the Getter, app, and they both approached Trump to partner with them, and he turned them down and started his own thing. And I noticed, I was looking at Truth Social today, their corporate address is in Palm Beach. So I don't know how far away, I haven't looked it up, I don't know how far away it is from Mar-a-Lago, but it's probably a short walking distance, I'm imagining. And I heard Devin Nunes, who's leading the he left Congress to lead it for Trump. I saw him on Newsmax a couple weeks ago, and whatever setup they have with computer servers and everything is completely safe and independent from any oversight. So we can't be shut down again. Iowa Advocates. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's great. All right, I appreciate it, Jerry. Take care, Jerry. It's a holiday. Every day's a holiday for Jerry because he's elderly and retired. But this business with Truth Social, Steve, what people don't, Trump's been completely cut off from the media, and they're not even carrying his rallies in the mainstream media, right? Because and with this new platform, he's going to their first reaction is going to be to ignore it, but they're not going to be able to control themselves. It's only a matter of time before they're going to start reporting on what Trump puts out on his social media platforms, commenting on all of the data. They'll have to. They hate him so much, they're not going to be able to stay away from it. And they're all going to be, all these liberal people in the media, like Brian Stelter and the rest, are all going to have secret accounts on this platform so that they can follow and monitor Trump. They're not going to have like an official CNN account like they do on Twitter. They'll have secret accounts so they can be a part of it too. And I really believe, and I'm not just hyping this up, but I believe that what Trump is doing could put Facebook and Twitter out of business. I believe that he is going to have the social media platform of record for everyone in a short amount of time, and and these lefties that run these other groups, they're not going to make changes to try to keep people. They're very arrogant. They think they're too big to fail. And they're going to be in for a rude awakening, because the exodus from Facebook and Twitter starting today and by the end of next month, when Truth Social is available to everyone, is going to be massive, like nothing we've ever seen before. So that's that. Oh my goodness. So what do you see happening with Ukraine, Steve? What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. I just got up.
Oh, you just got up. Well, nothing's changed since you went to bed last night. Nothing's changed since you went to bed last night.
Well, then the situation is Biden is in control.
What?
Biden will get what
How is, you mean Putin's in control? No, Putin's in control. Yeah. Yeah, you said Biden's in control. But Biden, whatever, well, you know, what I know, I was thinking yesterday, maybe we should take Monday off. It is President's Day. But we take so few days off, and, you know, it's hard from, well, there's only 23 minutes left to the show, and then it'll be, the rest of the day will be a Presidential Day holiday. But, you know, what's happening in Ukraine, this is a disaster for Biden. It's a disaster. You know, I was talking about this in the first hour. You'll remember when Reagan walked out on the summit meeting in Iceland, in Reykjavik, Iceland, with Gorbachev. And that moment when Ronald Reagan walked out of the summit meeting was the end of the Soviet Union. That was it, because they begged him to come back. You know, and he came back, and that was it, and we won the Cold War. That's what's
amazing what happens when you have leaders that know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. Well, that's what's happening now in reverse. This time, it's so they set this thing up where Biden said, okay, let's have a summit, and then Putin says no. So what's going to happen? The White House are going to have to try to coerce Putin into the summit meeting. So now we are in the weakened position with Russia for I think the first time ever. You know, I don't think the United States has ever been on the losing end with Russia during any, whether it was the Cuban Missile Crisis or the Gorbachev-Reagan era. Yeah. And vice president. I mean, yeah. I don't know why she always wears. Yeah, she looked great. And I have one clip of her. Let me play this, because let me pull this up. This is Kamala yesterday.
If this happened, sure. As the president talked about in his speech, we are aware that, again, when America stands for her principles and all of the things that we hold dear, it requires sometimes for us to put ourselves out there in a way that maybe we will incur some cost.
Okay, so she says it's time for us to put us out there in a way which could incur us some cost. What cost is she talking about? American lives? What is she? Well, what else could it be? I mean, what is? Oh, human life is just some cost to her. I mean, what the hell is she talking about? I mean, that is frightening to me.
The State Department keeps saying the ball is.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah. Well, it's, you know, total incompetence and corruption. But when she's, I mean, you know, in the media, we have no choice. We have no choice. What are we supposed to do? We got to ride it out. Well, even after the midterms, he's still president and she's still vice president and in charge of foreign policy. Yeah. Yeah, but this is pretty bad. I mean, he's already been humiliated by Putin by refusing the summit meeting. You know, it's been a famous thing between the United States and Russia since the days of that red phone, that at any moment in time, the president of the United States or the Russian leader can get on the phone and they can have a meeting and cool things off and talk. And this is the first time that avenue has not been available. And it's on their end where they said no with Putin. You know, that's what I was talking about earlier, Steve. Putin and China are testing us to see what the American reaction will be. And all they're getting is weakness. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, he wants to see what the country's reaction will be too. How much will the country put up with? What I mean is, if he were to make a military move, and Biden's checked out, Putin knows more about this than I do because he's, all spied up on Biden, I'm sure, like they were on Trump. He's got to see, will the military react? Will the Congress react? Will the people demand? Will the media in this country force reaction?
From Biden that Germany is going to...
No. No. The Germans are working. The Germans are not with us. They're with Putin. They got the... But they're not going to officially say that. They're not going to officially say that but they get... No. Now, yeah, I think they're going to... No, things are going to move, and they're going to move quickly. Well, I don't know about when, but Putin's going to... Putin, if he wants to go into Ukraine, it's done. It's done. And we're not going to do anything about it except talk about some meaningless sanctions that will not change anything. Now, I want to tell everyone about the Thomas Edison of sleep, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow, and there are just great specials going on right now at MyPillow.com when you use the promo code Kane at checkout. In particular, the 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. I have 4 sets of these, and they have the Giza Dream Sheets. This Giza Cotton, they're 100% Giza Cotton, and Mike Lindell's talked about this a lot. He says there's a lot of people that sell Giza sheets, but they only have like 10% Giza cotton in them, right? And the Giza cotton is the finest cotton in the world, and the MyPillow sheets are 100% Giza cotton. And what that cotton does, and I experience this myself every night because I sleep on these sheets, they give you, not only are they soft and comfortable and perfect, they regulate your body temperature perfectly regardless of what the temperature is outside of your bed. And they're at their lowest price ever. 60% off the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, as low as $39.99. Also, a new special this week, the MyPillow Pet Beds. I have 2 of these, one for my dog, one for my cat. The MyPillow Pet Beds, 50% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And that's the lowest price ever on the MyPillow Pet Bed. You definitely want to take advantage of that. You can get, if you click on the photograph of Mike Lindell holding the American flag with our promo code Kane, you'll see when you click that, it'll take you to some other specials. The 6-piece MyPillow towel set, over 70% off, just $29.99 with the promo code Kane. And the big one is the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. This is the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell makes. It's the mattress topper I sleep on every night, and it's perfect. It also regulates your body temperature, relieves pressure points. My wife had back pain. That's why we got it. Back pain was gone after just one night. It gives you incredible amounts. It's just complete comfort and serenity when you wake up on the MyPillow mattress topper. And when I started sleeping with the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper, the first time in my adult life, I wake up in the morning when my alarm goes off. I'd always wake up early. Now I sleep a whole night's through with the MyPillow mattress topper. And the 3-inch mattress topper with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, 50% off. This is an incredible deal. Now, whatever specials you see at MyPillow.com, no matter what they are or what they say, you can take advantage of with our promo code Kane at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back after this.
This is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, we are back, and it's time for our first look at the metals for the week. On the line from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca, William Youngerman with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Looking very quiet today. The markets are closed in the United States, but the world markets are open, so the markets will be thinly traded today. And by the way, we are closed today also for President's Day, so make sure you remember to come see us tomorrow. The markets on Friday closed out the week unchanged on Friday at $1,899.20. Silver closed up 12 cents at $23.92 the ounce, while platinum was down $24 on Friday at $1,066, and palladium was down $19 on Friday at $22.93. This morning we've got gold down $4.20 right now at $1,895 the ounce. Overnight we did get up to about $1,910 the ounce. Silver is down 12 cents at $23.80. Platinum is up $14 at $1,080, and palladium is up $23 at $2,315 the ounce. And that's pretty much where that's going to be a quiet day today.
Yeah, but open tomorrow at 10 a.m. So if you want to call or stop by William Youngerman, not today, tomorrow, and we'll be open regular hours the rest of the week. Located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. You can call them 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, have a great President's Day. We'll talk tomorrow. Okay, thank you. All right, take care. You know, Chuck Todd was trending on Twitter, and I couldn't figure out why. And it's of this clip. He had the Secretary of State on Meet the Press yesterday. Let me play this real quick. It's short.
The previous one, why do you think he didn't act then? I hope you get a chance to ask him.
Okay, they can't even say Trump's name. The previous one, he means former president. He meant to say President Trump. He was trying to say, why didn't Putin make a move when Trump was in office? But he can't say Trump's name, so he's got to say the other one. You know, he's got to use coded language. But when you have Chuck Todd questioning Biden's handling of Ukraine and Russia, you know Biden's in trouble. You know, when a Democrat loses Chuck Todd and Meet the Press, it's over for him. Well, Chuck Todd views his job as to help whatever Democrat is in trouble in any particular week on Meet the Press as a way to spin things to help the Democrats, and he can't even do it. But I'll tell you, this Secretary of State we have, Blinken, is he not the most effeminate Secretary of State we've ever had? Oh my goodness. Well, Are you talking about you mean the Defense Secretary? The spokesperson is that admiral who's also very effeminate. Yeah, the admiral. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, how would you handle yourself as a spokesperson for Biden? You're speaking for Biden. Yeah. Well, he doesn't know what he's doing. So how can he, when he's incompetent? How can he? Well, they've got a difficult job. That's explaining what Biden is doing and trying to put it in a good light.
So we're saying because it's President Day, Biden's going to be lived by another day of not having to account for stupid decisions.
Yeah, yeah. The media they'll coast today because it's like last week you had the Super Bowl Monday, which is like a holiday, so they'll coast on President's Day. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, you'd have to just throw your hands up in the air and say, I can't do it. Oh my gosh, she's got to be a wreck. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, by the end of the week, we're going to have some. We'll have some resolve. Yeah, yeah. Trump handed Biden a perfect country. Everything was fine. We were out of the COVID. Yeah. 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 I mean, he just wrecked everything. He just wrecked everything. I mean, he couldn't have wrecked it more if he tried. But we're gonna no. This is him doing nothing. Can you imagine what would happen if he did something? But this summit will probably eventually happen with Putin and Biden, and that's when Putin's really going to humiliate Biden. Putin wants the summit more than Biden, because and this will be a real summit where there'll be a lot of press. It'll be followed. There'll be the motorcades. There'll be and Putin is going to do to Biden what Reagan did to Gorbachev. He's going to walk out, and he's going to leave, and Biden's going to be sitting there with Kamala holding himself, and looking like a weakling. That's what's coming. That's what's coming, man. I see the writing on the wall. First off, what's going to start happening now is the Biden administration are going to have to try to coerce Putin for the meeting. Putin wants the summit more than Biden because he wants to have the photo op of the humiliation of Biden. He wants to humiliate the United States and do to us what we did to them. Remember, this guy's a Soviet Union guy. I mean, he misses the Soviet Union. Yeah, exactly. And so believe me, he has not forgotten about the Gorbachev humiliations. We should be so lucky to have someone as strong as Gorbachev today, as opposed to what we got. But that when the summit happens, and it will happen, and Putin, you know what, I would compare it to, there was one thing that was close to that. I've forgotten about this. Obama, when he went to Havana, and Raul Castro was the president then, he didn't go to the airport and made Obama come to him. And remember, Trump said, if he wasn't waiting for me at the airport, Air Force One would have taken off. I wouldn't have gotten off the plane. That was humiliating. This is going to be worse. And not only is it going to be worse, it's going to be a lot worse, because this involves a bloody conflict. Oh my goodness. Well, the fall of America, we were there to see it, I guess. I mean, we're no longer a superpower. It'll come back. It definitely can come back when Trump comes back, but he's not back yet. Oh well. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. A weakened, broke country. I can only imagine what inflation's going to be like in 2 years. I mean, now, look at what prices are like. It's gone through the roof. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll tell you, because you see like Chuck Todd turning on Biden. We all knew that Biden was an incompetent, but I don't even think the liberals, any of us, realized how bad he would be. I mean, obviously we knew things weren't going to be great like they were with Trump, but I don't think we realized things were going to be this bad. And things have gotten much, much worse. Well, listen, Steve, we are out of time for this President's Day. You want to sign us off?
It will be a better day tomorrow, I promise. To share it with Brian Craig, my partners, all around good guys. Tomorrow, God bless Donald Trump.
Where is...
Call 561.
All right, guys, listen, I got to run. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Kathy and I have a new podcast later today, so look out for that. Make sure you like the video before you go, and if you're new, subscribe, all right?